Hello everyone. Come on in to Goat Skull in Pastels. It's actually going to be oil pastels. Probably shouldn't be doing oil pastels since I don't really know how to use them. I mean, I do know how to use them, but I haven't used them in a really long time. Hi guys. Come on in, come on in. I'm waving at everyone. Lonnie Marie Paints, Starkey8572, come on in. Marie, hello. So I was just saying, whoops. This is the actual goat skull. I hope it doesn't gross you out. I love anatomy because of my nursing background. So I'm not going to actually draw from the goat skull just because I can't really. I mean, I might do part of it since I'll have it off to the side. But I printed off a couple of photos of this goat skull. My husband picked this up for me in Mexico because he knows how much I love animal skulls specifically. So, yeah. So I chose oil pastels because, well, I love challenging myself. And I figured, well, I know the soft pastels pretty well. So I thought I would try something different, oil pastels, because they are a completely different beast. Oh, Lonnie Marie Paint says, I have goats, so it grabbed my attention. Great. I love goats. Oh my gosh, I love goats. They're the cutest things ever. Hi, Susie and Deb. So yeah, this is the skull that is my inspiration for today. So I'm just going to remove it. Look how quickly I did that drawing. Actually, it's funny. I did the drawing based off of the photo of the skull. But then when I literally just grabbed the skull and put it on top of my paper, and it fit what I had drawn perfectly, which is kind of funny. So yeah, I'll explain my materials here. This is the photo of the goat skull that I'm going to be using. So if you guys want, you could take a screenshot of it maybe right now. I don't know if you can do that on video. I'm assuming you can. I know you can. Yes, of course you can. So you could take a screenshot of this right now. Otherwise, I have dropped it into my highlights section under the photo references. It's also in my stories. So you could grab that from there if you want to, paint along. So what I typically do is I like to look at these images in a couple different ways. This is the Notan or Notan. I think it's Notan because it's a Japanese version of kind of turning your image into basically just big shapes, which I feel really helps with the proportions, getting the proportions and the angles right. I love dropping my image into this app that I use, and it's called the Notanizer. And then it also lets you do it as a value scale as well. So Notan is more just about the difference between the black and the white, it shows you the darkest darks and the whitest whites. And then this is the value scale version of the photo. And so this one helps with, making sure I get a nice diversity and variety of colors and layers during the painting process. So I love also using this one as references. So these are all just references. I have them off to the side. I definitely will be working from this one. I'm kind of on this monochromatic little, journey right now. So I've been doing a lot of stuff that's more monochromatic. So I've picked up a couple, well, not just a couple, but several oil pastels in more it's very similar actually to this original photo, but it has a little bit more blues and grays in it. And then I thought, since we're on the tail end of the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, which I totally love because, skulls. I thought I would think about adding maybe some floral elements onto this guy. So that's an idea. I don't know if I'll get to it, but I really like the idea of skulls and then something more organic like flowers. It's not like it hasn't been done before, but anyways. So that photo is off to the side. This is just plain black matte board. So it's actually very slippery. And you can maybe see the thickness there. It's not, sorry, it's a little bit blurry. It's not that thick. It's like, I don't know, what is that? 1/8 of an inch or something. Actually, I think it's even smaller than that, 1/16. Doesn't matter. It is very smooth surface. So typically with oil pastels, you can go either way. You can, depends on your kind of what you're after. If you want something that's going to more like glide across the paper, you want something a little bit more slippery, then, you know, something like this matte board is nice. This isn't like a completely slick surface, but wow, I just love the feel of oil pastels on this surface. So hopefully you guys can pick up some matte board and try it out on your own. And with the oil pastels, I'm just going to give you a couple little tips. So I have to also remind myself, because with the dry pastels, I usually work dark to light, but with the oil pastels, I have to work light to dark, because the dark colors tend to muddy up the lighter colors pretty quickly and pretty badly, so I have to remember to use the lights first. Hello, Jen Lee 921. Lights first, work up to the darks, and then you can add just a touch of the lighter on top of the dark, but that has to be basically your last attempt at doing that, because the minute you squish it into the dark, it just becomes mud. Let's see. And then, yeah, that's about it. I have several oil pastels here, the ones that I'm mostly going to use. This is my plate off to the side. This is what I have to use. And these are Mungyo brand. It's one of my favorite brands. They're very cost effective, and they're nice and soft and juicy. And so these are my little grays over here. I have a couple of metallic ones also, which I think are really fun, especially on the black surface. I just pulled out some purples in case I want to throw that in there, and then some oranges. So this is just my plan. We'll see if it works. And then this guy is just a stylus. It's like a tool that you can use to add texture into clay for like making pottery. It's really good to like scratch out, texture and some details. It's like this graffito effect into oil pastel. So that's kind of a really fun, thing to do after you've had several layers of the oil pastels on your surface. Then you can use that little scratching tool. I'm just going to really quickly just show you how pretty these guys can be. So this is a set of the Mungyo, and these are fluorescent. So the fluorescents are a little bit more translucent compared to the other regular ones. Those are much more opaque. But I just thought these colors were just so pretty. I'm not sure if they will show up so well actually just straight on the black. Let's see. So this is just a practice. Yeah, they don't show up directly on the black as nice and vibrant as they will be. Once I have some layers, then I can just add some details on top of what I have already. This is like a green. Yeah, they're really pretty. Honestly, trust me, they are. But we will have to use them on top of other stuff. So these are Sennelier oil pastels, and these are really nice and squishy and pretty. Let's see if this orange. I'll just show you. There's the orange. Yellow's probably going to look like green, because anytime you put yellow on top of black, it just looks green. It's a little bit better than that other one. So those are the Sennelier. Ooh, these are really pretty too. These are Crondash. These are Swiss. And let's see how these look. Those are nice. Actually, these are really nice and thick and soft. You can kind of see the difference. The Senneliers are so super soft that they're just more squishy. But these are a little bit harder, I would say. And wow, those look awesome on the black paper. So that is good to know. Also, these are the Munyo that I plan to use. And these look really nice on top of the black paper too. So, you have to kind of plan in advance a little bit on what you're going to do. As far as like the color, I just feel like a white paper is really hard to remove the texture or the white of the paper when you're doing something especially like this. But I actually don't really use white paper ever, just for that reason. I much prefer something darker like this or toned. So I guess we should get started, huh? All right, here we go. So I'm going to start with the whites, with the white, actually. Just to remind you, so this section here, like the frontal part of his skull, and then some areas on his horns and a little bit down below. So I might switch to my Notan just so I can really get the whites in. I like to, and I use these oil pastels exactly like I use the soft pastels, where I like to use sort of like the side. This is just blocking in. Also, when you're using oil pastels, because these are not meant to be used for like high detail, fine detail, it's really better to work off of something that's bigger. So actually, this is an 11 by 14 piece of mat board. I want to make sure I don't cover up some of those things that I like these little holes and some of these other textures. But it reminds me a lot of the soft pastel. These guys. I might turn this around just for a sec so I can get into that the side where I need to. Sorry about that. I hope it doesn't make you feel too dizzy. You keep getting kicked off, Marie? Really? Actually, this morning I was having trouble. Also, it kept telling me like, "We're sorry. We're having problems, something with the internet." So I don't know if it's like an internet thing or I don't know. All right, so this part down here also is white. I really love the feel of oil pastels on this mat board. Like literally, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. I think something's going on with on Instagram because it was also like the same. I know this is a little bit, the one on the left is a little bit too wide, but I can, that's the cool thing about the oil pastels. It's a lot like acrylics, where you can like kind of cut into it with another color. Let's see, I need to move this down so we can see this section. I guess I have to be also a little bit more careful on this, slicker surface, because I'm imagining it's like with the soft pastels where we have to be careful to fill in the tooth of the paper, since like basically this paper has, or this surface kind of like has no tooth. So, yeah. Because it's so slick. All right, how's everyone doing? I think it looks pretty cool already, right? Okay, I'm just kind of brightening some of this white stuff. Now let's see. Don't want to really go quite that wide over there. Lucy, Alice Photography joined. Hello. I know they actually, there are some really cool papers for oil pastel. I think I can't remember if it's Sennelier. I think Sennelier actually has their own oil pastel paper, which I think is I haven't actually really used it, but I've heard people who do use it like really like it. So yeah, give it a whirl. You know what? Also, you can use oil pastels on wood, on like a wood surface. Hi, Lucy. And I know that is actually a really cool surface too, because you can imagine it already has like that cool, tooth. So here, I'm going to just get this a little bit brighter here. So this is the photo, my no-tan that I was taking a look at here for references, for getting some of the like white stuff in, white colors. Trying to stay, loosey-goosey, like Lucy. Loosey-goosey. Ha-ha. All right, let's move over. So now I'm just taking a look at this. This is the original photo, and it's good to also, kind of go back and forth, because sometimes those references, like the no-tan, they don't capture stuff that maybe I want to include. So just making sure everything is good here. You know what? I know I said that I'm not going to use that. Actually, you know what? There was a blue in here that I thought was looking good. I want to use instead of the black, I just don't want to forget that these spots are here. So this is like a kind of like an indigo blue. So I'm just going to put that in as like a place saver also over here. Okay, that's enough of that. I have to remind myself, don't use the darks yet. Okay, let's do the values. Let's start layering. Hello, Julie Rossini. Thanks, Lucy. I know, like, the mark making is so much fun with pastels. It's like, hi, Dina. Come on in. This is our goat skull. For you guys who just joined, I'm just going to really quickly show you. This is the original skull. This is the actual skull that I have this is my muse. The poor thing. I hope he had a natural way of dying and not, I don't even want to think about it. There's too much violence and crazy stuff going on in the world right now. It's kind of unbelievable. Okay. So now I have this lighter gray. So sometimes if you're not too sure, about the colors, you can always put it down on it's good to have like a scratch piece of paper or whatever surface you're using if you can, so that you know how it's going to present. So like down in here, I know it's not going to really show up that much until I start doing like thicker marks. I'm not sure how thick I really want to go, because like there's so much really cool texture you know what I mean? Like on these, the skull. And it's kind of like I'm sort of picking up like a natural texture from this paper. So I don't know what I'm kind of like trying to figure out. Hi, Erin. Come on in. Just doing some marks here. I'm probably not using these oil pastels like you're supposed to because I am sort of like treating them like soft pastels, but I mean, they're shaped pretty much exactly like the soft pastels. So I'm like, okay, well, why not? I'm just really comfortable holding them in this way. And you can get like basically the same exact marks. So I don't know. Whenever I do stuff like this, it reminds me of like Georgia O'Keeffe. Which I'm sure you guys know who that is. So I'm just looking at my reference, which is off to the side. Just building up the layers. So the way to, like remove this texture, this paper, is just to push harder and just kind of like scrub back and forth. Let me get some of this in the horns. It's very close to the white, but I don't want to over. I'm just trying to take it slowly, I guess, because this is a completely new medium for me. So it's not new, but I just mean that I don't use it. So I'm just trying to use my my skills that I have with the soft pastels and trying to apply this in the same manner. Nope, soft pastels are totally different from oil pastels. So oil pastels are made out of oil. Soft pastels are made out of like a combination of some binder and some talc. So like, look, this is an oil pastel. Okay. You can also use with oil pastels, you can use Gamsol or turpentine to blend it down. And, oh my gosh, right next to me I have. So this is basically, it's a really close color, but this is a chalk pastel. And that's how that looks. I don't know if you can, there's not a real big difference, but this is like a dry. So this is me blending out the soft pastel. And look, when I touch it with my finger, the oil pastel, like it blends much differently. So the soft pastels are more chalky and the oil pastels are oily. I try not to say that soft pastels are chalk because there's actually no chalk in soft pastels. It's not, there is no chalk. It's like made out of like talcum powder and some binder and pigment. Soft pastels are like one of the most purest art materials or pigments available. That's why I love using them. Well, so the texture is chalky, Marie, but it's not. I'm just trying to educate you that they're not made from chalk. But it is chalky. Like if you think of sidewalk chalk, or you know what I mean? Like chalk like that you would use in school. Or probably the student grade is more chalky. Maybe there is some chalk involved. So that's the soft pastels are more chalky and the oil pastels are oil. right? So that's your little lesson for today. Sorry. I didn't want to get any of the soft pastel. And also you can't really mix the soft pastels and the oil pastels. You can't mix because it would basically the oil pastel would adhere to the soft pastel, and it would just get all squishy and like nothing would happen. You just can't mix those two, plain and simple. It would ruin your soft pastels if you touch the oil pastels. Like the oil would get all over your chalk, and that would just ruin. Yeah, the chalk pastels are much more what was I saying? The soft pastels. See, now you got me saying chalk pastel. Marie. The soft pastels are more dusty and messy. You can use some color pencils with the let's see. This is a different just a slightly deeper value in the pastel. I'm trying to like paint, talk, explain is like really, it's a very interesting skill. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, the color pencils. The color pencils, I think you can't really just like blend or layer color pencils on top of oil pastels. The color pencils, basically because they're so sharp, would act like a stylus, and it would just, you could use it to make marks into, like scratch marks into your skull, but it wouldn't leave behind the color of the color pencil, because it's like a sharp, it's like they're like a knife or whatever. Thanks, Marie. Okay, let's see. Let's add in some of this darker gray. Yeah, you can see, this is why I like the darker, kind of went a little bit over my, so did you see how I could just erase that with this white eraser off of my surface, which is actually pretty cool. See, this is why I like the darker surface, because it's just not overwhelming like the white. Like I literally don't ever use white paper. I forgot to put this in for his head back here. Okay. This is really fun, you guys. You should get yourself some mat board, and I know sometimes if you go to like framing shops, a lot of times you can get like their offcuts from the framers, and that could be really fun, to like practice with. Okay. Let's see. So with oil pastels and like soft pastels, for me, it's like really sculptural. Like I feel like it's a lot like, like clay or something. It's pretty fun. Let me look at the original photo, because I feel like there's some details down in here that need to be looked at. Yeah, there's some structure down here I don't want to miss. And I'm struggling with like, I might just leave the background black, because I kind of really like, how it looks. So yeah, we'll see. let's see, that was there, that was this here, this down in here. Let me make sure I keep this white. Before I start adding in some other darker colors. I mean, if I scrub at it, I can get, but see over here, I can't even really add much more white. Tricky business. But some of these parts, you know, I kind of just left them more light. Oop, there's some blue on there. No big deal. Now that I start adding in the other colors, I want to make sure that the white stays white before it gets too late in the game. I'm pushing down pretty hard here to increase the opacity. Hello, Angel. Yeah, I think, Maria, I think I should leave it black too. Okay. All right. There we go. Oh, good, Miss Lonnie. Yes, go back to work and make a skull. Draw or paint a skull with oil pastels. I'm just going to keep layering and layering, and that's all you do. I'm just going to, like, you know, keep scrubbing into the next layers. So let's see. This is an even darker still gray. Right? So I'm just trying to, like, you know, I'm laying down a bunch of, like, sort of like underpainting, honestly. Just in hopes that, you know, some of these lighter layers will show through. So you can see how it, you know, really starts to come alive now when we're adding in the this darker. This is really fun, you guys. I'm glad I decided to do this. Okay, let's see. There's a little bit kind of a shadow. So it's like this part, and it's really cool to work from something from life, you know, something that, you know, like a still life. So I can always, you know, grab the actual skull and take a look at it and be like, oh yeah, this part down here kind of is more concave, right? It's kind of, it like goes in. And then it's like cool because I can see all of these little like sutures and stuff. And the side view is pretty cool too. There's like the side. It's pretty awesome, right? So I could do another version of the side view. But anyhow, oh, I see a couple more little lighter spots down here, which aren't covered yet, so I can... I think as long as the underlayers are not so super duper dark, it's okay to go on top with the lighter, but it definitely is not gonna let me do too much more. Okay, I want to start adding in the darker tones. My plan was to kind of keep it, you know, a little more simple. because I don't want this to get too overwhelmed with colors and stuff. I know, which is like totally the opposite of what I normally do. I do have some fun colors though, just in case I do want to get a little crazy. Actually, this is like a cream color. So I'm just gonna add it on top of in some of these like lighter sections, just to give it like a little pop. And if your oil pastel starts to get dirty with other colors, all you have to do is just wipe it off on a paper towel. They're like really easy. You do the same thing with soft pastels. And then I'll add a little bit down here. I'm just kind of looking around. Kind of lost that edge there. There we go. Okay. Just a little bit. I'm just looking around my reference, just seeing where I might want to add a little bit of this like kind of cream color. Okay, let's see. Looks like these, I probably should have brought these. This on mine is up a little bit higher than it is in the reference photo, but it's fine. No big deal. Okay, I think it's time to pop in the darker colors, don't you? Let's try it. I'm going to use this blue. So here, I'm going to start on the horns. I'm just trying to fill in that section. I'm going to do the same over here. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate it. It's actually really fun. It's really good for me to do these because then I, hopefully I can just keep getting better at what I'm doing by doing these. I used to be like really freaked out by these lessons, but I don't know. I just feel like we're all here for the same reason. So then I was just like, just chill. Jen, just chill. Let's see. Actually, let me continue adding in the darks. I did that. And there are a couple little Oh yeah, do you Julie, when you say you use them pastels like pencils, are you saying that you tend to get more detailed? Is that what you mean? Yeah, for me, it's a little bit different with the pencils, because like when I start using pencils, and that's when I start getting like more detail oriented, I guess. So like the pastels for me are a way to, you know, sort of like lose that control. Just because I can't actually get as detailed as I would with if I was like using color pencils, then this thing would be like much different. I would approach it much differently. I mean, like pastel pencils, you can totally get super duper detail oriented with those guys. Thanks. Yeah, the yellow looks pretty cool, right? Because it's like with the blue, right? So that it kind of like, you know, I know that like, you know, purple and yellow are the complementary, but anyways, as long as it's a nice contrast, I guess, and it also kind of gives it a little bit of a glow, I guess. Right? And it sort of separates the top part from the lower part, because I'm trying to keep his jaw, you know, from the backside a little bit darker to try to bring keep this guy, you know, up. What am I trying to say? The top part of his skull. I wanted to keep it sort of more elevated, right? Let me see. This one looks like... Oh, I guess it's okay. It's like really, it's really different to like work flat, to draw flat like this. I mean, I'm used to doing it because I do it a lot, but sometimes I look at stuff and it just looks like really off, but it's actually okay. All right. Let's see. What time do we have? 10:42. Good. Wow. This thing just kind of like came together really quickly. I'm kind of impressed with how quickly like a lot of these guys, you know, came to life. So I'm actually thinking of using this lighter blue. I don't know if it's going to be... Oh, wow. Okay. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, my. Nice. Okay. I like that. I like that light blue, like, a lot. I'm just going to put a few little... Hello, Sai. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. Yeah, that light blue is like, woohoo, party. I'm going to put a little bit of that on the horns. Right? Okay. Now we're talking. This is where now I can start to have fun. This is more me, like a little bit of the brighter color, just a little pop there. Like I said, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to overdo it. But I think that lighter blue was pretty cool to kind of just change up the values. I love this eraser. You can just like if I went outside somehow, I can just like basically erase back with this eraser. It's pretty cool. Oh, I noticed here, there's some darker parts down here. Right, and then I can just keep going back and forth, layering. Let's see. I mean, I think it's okay, it's simple, but I also think it needs some, you know, some like different colors here too. Let's see. Trying to decide what I want to do. This is a little bit lighter color. I know I said not to do that. I'm kind of going against everything I just sort of at the start said, you know, you're not supposed to do. But that's okay. As artists, that's what we do, right? We make the rules or start to follow the rules, and then we break the rules. That's just part of the process. Oh my gosh, that was my stomach. I had a big, I haven't actually eaten my breakfast yet, so my stomach just growled. Kind of funny. Thanks, right? The blue is kind of cool, right, Si? The bright blue just gives it a little more oomph. I don't know. I wonder if it's just this surface, because I'm actually able to go on top with these lighter colors and it's not too bad. Let me see if I can bring back some of this. This got a little bit too dark. Yeah, actually I can't really go much lighter than that. I take it back. Okay. Let's see. No more variation in the value here. Oh, I know what I was gonna show you guys. I think I need to add a little bit more up here in the horns because I wanted to use a little sgraffito to dig into this stuff up here. But you have to have enough product down for it to work. Actually, I wanted that to be more. Okay. I don't want that to be so gray. Nice. All right. Let's see. Let's have some fun with scratching in some stuff. Hopefully I have enough product down. I should for the horns. So when I look at the horns, see all these cracks and lines? I want to see if I can get some of that. So I'm just kind of scratching in. I don't know, it's not showing up that much, but it's there. Very cool. Let's see. Ooh, I have to be careful not to push too hard. That's working. All right, and then after this, I was gonna think about adding in some like floral element. It shows up better on the lighter, the scratching. Yeah, that's kind of fun though, to just put in sort of like some squiggles. I will enjoy. Thank you, Sai. I had to turn off all my lights because the light on top of the black was giving this really awful sheen. So all right, let's add some flowers, shall we? Does that sound good? I was thinking about, I think I'm gonna do some like orangey color, because I think that will contrast really nicely with this sort of like bluish gray tone that I have, yeah, going on. Yes, Marie, the scratching is not visible from the, I don't know if I see right there in the middle, there's a little bit of a scratch, but it looks better. It's more visible in the lighter parts, but I really like this, you know, this texture from the oil pastel, like where it's not all the way completely blended down. I'm not a big blender anyways. With even my other pastel stuff, I like to leave it not like blended down. I like to show the marks. Okay, here we go. Let's try and add in some of these orange. I'm just going to make up some flowers and sort of like put it like over here. Maybe I'll start behind and then maybe one like over here and then maybe one over here. I don't know. We'll see. So let's see. I'm going to start over here. All right. Then I'm going to go to another like orangey color. And then a little bit darker. You have to really scrub into it to get it to show up. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if any of these fluorescents would work. Let's see if we can really pop that. Kinda. Now, maybe a little bit, let's see, a little bit darker orange. This might be good. All right, now I'm thinking, let's see. Yeah, this is showing up. The scratching on that part is scratching up. I think it just works a lot better if you have a thicker, you know, you have to have like lots of stuff down. So this scratching is working. Cool. All right, let's try a little variation over here. So there's that one there. Let me see. I want to put one like on his actual skull. So and this is exactly how I would use like a soft pastel. I love using like the side. And then come in with a little bit lighter. I know I said to go light to dark, but here I am breaking the rules. Let's see, how's everyone doing? I hope that's not out of focus. No, it's okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, the center. I want to make that a little bit dark. And then hit it. Just a little. Actually, I want. That looks better. Just giving the edges here of this flower like a little highlight. I think that'll look good on this guy too. All right. Trying to clean up the black. Let's see. I feel like you need like there. I should put like a flower like down here because right now it's really like heavy with the flowers up top. So I think what I like to do is sort of put another like little flower down in this section to pull your eye down to the right side. You're not really supposed to go dark to light. You're supposed to go light to dark with oil pastels, but I think it depends on your surface that you're working on. Also, it seems like this one I can kind of just scrub into it and sort of like, it's almost like I'm removing the underneath layers. Yeah, so you're not really supposed to do it like that with oil pastels. Supposed to do light to dark because the dark colors do muddy up the lighter ones. So yeah, here, let's try following the rules, and I'll use this really lighter, kind of like creamy color. I'm going to turn this around for just a sec. Okay, and then let's bring in like an orangey color on top. And then I'll add even a darker orange. So you can see how the layering works a little bit better that way. Well, you know, we just This is why we're here, to learn stuff. Me too. Because like I said, this is not a material that I use a lot. And then let's just pop that. Actually, let me see what this Sennelier. I don't want to use a red though. I just need a little bit. Let me see what this. This is like a metallic orange. Let me see how that is going to look. It's not that dark. But it's still pretty. All right, let's see. We can add in some scratching. I'm thinking about sort of like adding in a few little leaves because I think that might add some more interest. I want to do something. This flower's bothering me. I'm just going to change it just ever so slightly. There we go. All right, cool. These are a little bit more abstract. I think it looks a little bit better now, the flowers. So here, let's do, yeah, right? Leaves. Let's do some leaves on the fly. So I'm going to grab a few greens. Let's see. Let's use our practice. That's nice. That's pretty close, same value. That's darker. Let's do that one, and then actually let's use this. Sorry guys, I wasn't planning on doing the leaves, but now that I look at it, I kind of want to. So here. Yeah, good. So what I usually do is, even if they come in full, like they're full stick, I'll just break them in half. Because this is how I need to be able to hold them like this. So let's see. Let's see, I'm going to put one. And then maybe. Let's see. That looks all right. This guy can come down there. Sweet. So, let's see. It was this one I wanted to. Now just add in sort of my mark making. All right, everyone, just putting this together. And then one more layer of dark, little dark touch. This is not I'm not after details here. It's just enough to suggest, some darkness happening. Actually, it could be kind of cool. Because this background is so dark, yeah, that's not going to show up. We have to stick with kind of more on the lighter range of the grains. I was just thinking it could be kind of cool. Like some grasses or something kind of coming out. I need to move my plate so that I can have full range. This is really fun to just kind of strike the surface and then kind of a little bit of a explosion happening here. Oh, but I kind of like it actually. Since we're sort of like I was talking about on the tail end of the Dia de los Muertos, I wanted to do something like that. What do you think, you guys? Thanks, Marie. I appreciate your support. Let's see. Just thought this guy needed a little bit more. I don't know. It was just too disconnected. I wanted to kind of bring the flower a little bit more together. Yeah, right, I agree. I think the green was a good addition as well. It's also kind of on that, like, cooler side. So, when I think about doing something like this and something starts to, maybe not look right, I try to think about, maybe I need to add some warmth. So this is why I thought about the orange flowers to kind of warm it up a little bit. And then the green is also supportive of the like the cooler colors, but it had some of these warmer greens in it, so I think it just sort of helped to kind of tie it all together. Actually, while I'm here, I could just try to warm up a little bit more of this guy. I know I was doing that initially. And then, the thing is, when you start, I probably should add a little bit, actually, of that gray, darker gray, or maybe the blue, as a shadow color, right? Because when you start adding to your piece, then you have to think, well, if I have a flower here, right, then it's probably going to have a little shadow. So it's fine to add stuff to your story, but you just have to make sure that it makes sense to what you're trying to illustrate, right? So then this little part of the flower back here is going to be a little bit in shadow because it's nestled right next to this horn. Right, so then that, I think, helped right there too. This guy's more sticking out, but it's more like underneath. Think about, right? And then there we go. Then we can, those guys kind of, certain parts on his skull get pushed back, and, we're trying to bring the flowers forward a little bit by doing that. But this was really fun for me to do, and I hope you guys had fun watching. I'm just going to add a little bit more orange here. I really, really, really wanted to add, now that I have that green, I don't know if that magenta is going to show up. Oh, it might. I don't know. This is just an afterthought, but I'm just going to put in little pops of magenta, because those of you who know me know that magenta is probably my favorite color on the planet. Next to turquoise and neon yellow. And I'll just put a few little magentas on him too. That's a little more festive. Making some of them go off the sides too. Okay. You wanted to add bright pink. You know what? Actually, that's a really good idea. This will be my last thing. Color. I'll add a really bright pink on top of this magenta. And as I say that, I'm just going to bring in some larger marks, because these lines back here are very subdued. I mean, like the grasses and these little dots, so it's good to kind of bring in a little bit like a chunkier mark. But I don't want to cover up that black too much. But I love the idea of the bright pink. So let's do that. Oh, here's a bright pink. It's not that bright, but it's... Here we have the troubles of going light over dark. You know what? I'm just going to put it like right next to it. And it's enough to just kind of pop it into another value. Pretty. This is fun. Yeah, and actually, let's do few little different marks with the bright pink. Oh my gosh, my stomach is growling like crazy. I hope you guys can't hear that. Or maybe you can. I need to go eat. Hello, Punk Yoda. This is where we got, and I'm about ready to... Okay, good. I'm about ready to call it a completed lesson. Unless there's anything else you want to see me do. I had a lot of fun with this. This is oil pastel. Oh, you have a growling stomach. It's like going crazy right now. I really need to go and eat some food. That's so funny. Let's see. I think that's about it. Right? Here's a really soft white. And I can add this on the edges if I wanted to, like, this is a super duper 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 soft white. That's the only reason why I'm able to kind of bring back or add this white on top of these layers. These are Sennelier, and they are so soft. Cool. Oh, that's good to know. Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for joining me. I think I'm just going to call it before I, start to overdo things, which you guys know can happen. Actually, this looks good, though, to bring a little bit of this bright white here on the top, right? I think that's good. I'm glad I discovered this about these soft pastels. That's really useful, actually, to know that you can use this really soft white if you need to, because that helped to kind of just brighten stuff up a little bit, especially on the top here, where that's where the light is hitting. Okay. Thanks, Punk Yoda. I like it too. That's going to look good up on the wall. I think I'm going to call it done. Bada bing, bada boom. So thanks so much for joining me. And I will post it right away as a reel, and you can watch the replay. Next week, I have to think of something to do. Unless you guys have a suggestion, and it'll be back to my colored pencil lesson. So, you know what? I kind of had an idea of like a fall leaf, because I think that would be a little bit easier to manage in colored pencil. Like we could do an under painting with pan pastel and then go on top with color pencil. Like a fall leaf might be kind of pretty for next week. What do you think? I think I'm going to do it. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Take care and stay safe. And we will see you next week. Thanks, Marie. Talk to you guys later. Bye.